All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast After Show. Um, yeah, uh, one in the chat there. It looks like Uncle Whiskey had going through divorce is the biggest natural disaster. Is it
Yeah.
really natural, or were you really the problem the whole
You were the problem, weren't you?
time? Oh man,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, solar flares. So he's not wrong. Uncle Whiskey coming up aces here with the different things to prepare for.
Yeah. I think I think a lot of that shit was a lot of the natural disaster stuff is basic knowledge that I feel like a lot of people just don't have.
And
People
that's
that listen to this show, generally speaking, are prepared for that sort of thing. But I think there's
right.
a lot of
And that's it. As a prepper show, I kind of feel like an obligation to cover like these things. Even
Mhm.
though I know, a lot of you guys been listening a long time. This stuff you're like, oh, it's old hat, man. Why are you covering that?
Yeah.
But I think so many people get caught flat footed with the basics that we're doing them a disservice, be it a prepper show, and then
And yeah, not even
every once
covering
in
it.
a while touching on these things.
Right.
I think the next episode, I think is going to be, I'm recording Tuesday morning with, this Sonia Gomez. She does these like come out and rehab your property into making it like a food forest but basically make it an abundant garden. And
Mhm.
she just knows a ton about soil and layout and design of property management for that kind of thing. So that's going to be really awesome.
That
So
sounds fun. Yeah.
some of you guys looking for the like more hardcore, like what is this? Uh Bakashi or something, some kind of weird compost stuff. She had a lot of cool things that Tuesday morning at she's coming on at 9, so we'll start somewhere, soon after that, like 9:10, 9:15.
Mhm.
Uh and that's always Eastern time. So like right now it's 10:19, so whatever. But so I'm doing that this Tuesday, but it'll be so this episode that we just recorded a minute ago won't actually come out till next Sunday. So the following Sunday, that'll be on on the iTunes and all that. But the YouTube will be live, soon after, right after, something like that. I mean, obviously we're going to record it live on
Mhm.
YouTube and you guys will be able to check it out. But really, we are going to dig deep into, and so she's hardcore, right? She charges like 8 grand to just come out and design your property.
Mhm.
And, I was talking to her.
You
She's
get
like,
some
how
of
do
this info
people
for
line it
free,
up?
huh?
It's funny. She was talking about, she's like, well, at first she thought for sure it was going to all be hippies and people who want to have her market. And she's like, and everybody is like hardcore preppers, everybody that contacts her. And it's like, oh, I heard you can do this.
Yeah.
And, she goes in and her and her husband have a team of actually a couple people and they come out and they like, hey, because I guess the idea is you don't want to keep redoing your property, right? You don't want to say, hey, I want a garden here. I want this. You get started. And then you're like, you know what? We need a way bigger garden. Or, oh, I forgot that I need to put a shed for whatever, or a chicken coop, or I want to do pigs.
Right.
She goes through and says, hey, what is it we really want? And suggests all kinds of things. Are you going to ever want this? Are you going to ever want this?
Right.
And hey, all right, this is how I would design that whole system, even if phase two doesn't come in until,
Mhm.
2 years from now or whatever. But having somebody who's been through the game before and is aware of what's going on, that's a great play. So anyway, that's going to be Tuesday. I'm going to go in it and jump into that with her. I've already actually just did an interview on her podcast, and she was great to talk to and, excellent. So I think, if you guys want to check that out, that'd be great. And obviously, it's recorded, you can catch it in the
Right.
after show. Tuesday turns out people might be at work or, do things with their lives. I don't know. I somehow grab you guys on Saturday morning. So, hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think I think that's funny though that said she thought it was going to be hippies, But I mean, really, there is a thin line between like hippie and
Hippie
survivalist.
prepper,
You
all
know?
that.
Yeah, there really
Right?
is. Yep.
It's
I
just we
mean,
have
I
beards. Oh, but
yeah,
actually, they have beards too.
they
Hippies,
have
like
beards. Yep, they
Father
have beards.
Time, looking like Rip Van Winkle and shit.
Yeah, no, I know that when I go out with a lot of hippies, hiking and things like that, they're so much better at spotting plants and like foraging type stuff than most of the guys I know that are like hardcore preppers or even hunters. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
They're left and right. They're, oh, you can eat that mushroom. This is
right.
good for that. This is
And even the reverse of that. I mean, how many hunters do you know? I mean, there's the old school drunks back in the 50s or something, but how
mm,
many hunters do you know that are out and like throw their garbage on the ground or,
right,
oh, I'm going to dump this extra gas in the backyard on the ground. I don't care
right.
about it or whatever. I mean, I don't think gas evaporates. It's not really that big a deal, but oh, I'm going to put all my used motor oil in the they're like, oh, I need to keep this land nice for the deer and
Right. For all the
yeah,
yeah.
they wanna take care of things and maintain it. Hunters and preppers are all like, "Hey, I need to grow. I'm not gonna have the toxic landfill in my backyard. I wanna
Uh-huh.
keep this nice?" And it's really a fine line. I guess that's what it comes down
Yeah.
to.
Well, yeah, I definitely knew a guy that, would always tell me as like advice to a younger person. He was an older guy. But what to do with used motor oil is you pour it around your garage, around the outside. Then you don't have weeds there, you
Is
know?
that's the trick?
Yeah. It
Kevin,
turns
that's
out if you have a
horrible
well,
advice.
yeah, if you have a well, you don't want to pour anything anywhere near anywhere on your property.
Yes.
That stuff will get in there.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's one of the things. Slowburn mentioned that the community colleges offer a lot of gardening programs like that,
mhm.
and I
And the
gotta say,
classes are pretty inexpensive.
wait, Thursday, I'm going to an aquaponics class put on. It's
Ooh.
actually not the community college. This one's, I think it might be combined community college and the local cooperative extension or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but it's $20 a person, but you get a free spaghetti dinner out of it.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I don't know. I
I
mean, hey,
remember I remember when aquaponics used to be like that was just code word for growing weed inside, you know?
no, that's
Hydroponics. But
hydroponics.
it really has advanced a lot though with aquaponics with, working
It's
with fish and growing plants and keeping water clean. It's really you know, it's
yeah,
pretty
everybody
interesting classes, pretty
was like,
interesting
"Hey,
information.
I'm gonna do this aquaponics class," and they're like, "You're gonna start growing weed?" And they
Mhm.
were all like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "No, that's not what I said at all." But
They're all
that's
in.
what everybody hears.
Yep,
So
they're all in. They're gonna come over to your house
you're not
expecting
wrong,
to get high. Yep,
Uh,
but what are you gonna do?
yeah,
No, that's it's great though to keep there's a lot of classes, a lot of places that are very inexpensive, that are very tailored to what you don't even have to be a prepper. Yeah, I mean, very tailored to specific things that you're interested in it. And gardening is one of those, landscaping, all that sort of stuff um, that you do day in and day out. They have
right,
classes on how to do it. I do a lot of cooking at my house, but I think I could probably stand to take a cooking class. You know what I mean?
right,
I probably
right,
don't really know what the fuck I'm doing.
right. We can
And
all
it comes
learn.
to anything. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I'm sure I could go to a prepper thing and be like, "Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I didn't consider that." There's
Hmm.
always new tricks.
Yeah.
There's always something new going on. That was it. She was telling me all kinds of things about composting and soil, and I'm like, "Really? I haven't even heard of that one."
Hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, dude, you're, light years behind." So we're gonna get to the bottom of it. And the cool thing is she's from Argentina actually, and they'll do like desert or mountain area or whatever, and they can kind of take whatever soil, they go figure out pH and all that. Like my wife, we tested the pH everywhere, we sent stuff away, soil samples and what nutrients are in here. That stuff's all like entry level. To
Right.
me that's advanced. I'm like, oh, if
Right.
I'm not just digging a hole and planting dirt, that's advanced. But
Yeah.
this is like
So,
even beyond that. They were
yeah.
like, "Oh, you're
So,
an amateur,"
yeah,
I'm
you
like,
don't
"Oh,
know the pH of your soil? Come
right.
back to me in another year when you
Yeah.
get
Well,
your
let's
shit
try
straightened out.
again."
Yeah.
You know? And what kinda, yeah, cocoa beans. Right, exactly. I don't know. You guys are crazy. Another thing, I don't know. The world is crazy. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, I have good things coming up, good podcasts. Actually, me and Kevin, we were just looking into yesterday. There's a big thing about, damn, the what is it? The Economic World Forum. Who's the Klaus Schwab? That guy,
Yeah,
whatever.
the
Great
super villain.
Reset, right? Super villain. They're like, oh, we need to cut national or worldwide food production by 30%. And you're
Smart.
like, wait, but people are hungry now. No,
We got too
obviously,
much food. That's
right.
the problem.
Obviously, America could cut food consumption by 30%, and we might not
We'll
be so
probably
bad.
be all right. Yeah.
We'd probably be all right. Although I will point out, I feel like a lot of it is the chemicals and shit in our food that's really why we're always hungry or why we're,
Yeah.
we
Because you eat
eat
that.
in a gluttonous manner where, your
Yeah,
body's not
you eat that ring
satisfied
ding,
or
but it's
fulfilled.
90% microplastics.
Right.
You're not getting
You're
any
like, did I
nutrients
even
out of
get
that.
anything? Your body's like, I still don't have all the nutrients I need. You better try again. And
Right.
then you go for the Twinkies. And
Right.
then same thing. You're like, I'm still hungry.
It's all
I don't
part of a balanced diet.
It's an ugly world we live in. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out. Kevin, anything else?
That's all I got for today.
All right, we'll let you guys get to your day and start building your own life. Stay safe. Talk to you guys next week.